This is my turn-by-turn guide to driving a quick lap time around Sandown Raceway. I'll show you through my lap of the circuit in detail, describing how and where to place your car to achieve that perfect lap time. Hello, my name is Brendan and I'm an amateur wannabe race driver who has attended Sandown track days in a Mazda MX-5 for over 10 years. Yes, while I have some experience, I am not a professional racing driver. So I'll caveat this video by saying this guide is my opinion and I may not get everything right, so consider this as a starting point for you to build on. It is certainly not the one and only way to go fast. Quickly, a little bit about Sandown. The tarmac track dates back to 1962, encircling a horse racing oval that had existed over 50 years prior. The layout has changed a few times over the years and now is famed as the home of horsepower, with two long straights and some squiggly bits at either end. It is iconic for its close proximity to the Melbourne CBD, which, with the city expanding over the last 60 years, now renders the circuit under perpetual threat of closure as the anti-motor racing folk complain of the circuit being a cause for issues such as noise pollution in a suburban area. Still, luckily for all us motorsport fans, the track is still alive and kicking, at least for the moment. It's a circuit perfect for the family, with a substantial grandstand that offers a view of almost the entire circuit, lots of easy access with on-site parking and a train station just across the road. As a rough guide, a V8 supercar laps the circuit in around 1:10, while a production spec Evo 10 track car is in the vicinity of a 1:20. Here's how to get the best out of your car around Sandown. And we start by heading down the main straight, past the pit lane and the start-finish line, and then the iconic grandstand. You'll eventually bring the car toward the right side of the circuit in readiness for the first braking zone into Turn 1. Turn 1. The approach into Turn 1 is high speed and the braking zone is bumpy, but it's a fairly straightforward 90-degree corner with an out-in-out approach. This is a heavy braking moment, and if you get it wrong, you'll end up heading straight on into the dirt. So you need to find the right braking point for your car, somewhere around the 100 board marker. There is that balance here of initially straight line braking and then carrying the brake pedal toward the apex. The corner is quite fast, so you do carry speed through the apex, and the exit is slightly downhill, but with a sizable curb on the exit that you can make use of. As we exit the corner, we are on the far right of the track and need to immediately aim the car back toward the left. Here is the first corner at speed. Turn 2-3. The next corner complex comes after a short downhill run. You get just enough time to get the car positioned on the left before the braking zone. There's a quick transition here. You won't be touching the throttle much between 2 and 3, so the focus is around being smooth, carrying speed all the way through for a clean exit. Braking hard from the short straight, you carry that brake towards the apex of Turn 2. The line through 2-3 can be somewhat conservative. Here you'll want to use as much of the curb on each apex as your car can handle. They are somewhat aggressive curbs, and some cars, short of a Rolls-Royce, may not have the stability to cope with a full V8 supercar style attack here, as it could unsettle the balance of the car too much. The exit from 3 should leave the car just riding atop the outside rumble strip. Your right-handed door handle just an arm's reach away from the guardrail, with you quickly approaching Turn 4. Here are the second and third corners at full speed. The fourth turn at Sandown is theoretically the easiest on the track, but it's exceptionally important. It's slow and straightforward, but the exit is critical because of the long straight that immediately follows. So your top speed down the back straight relies on how you approach Turn 4. The key factors are to use all the track, starting wide, still kissing that outside curb as you turn in, rotate through the midpoint of Turn 4, aiming to be touching the inside apex and then carrying the momentum, but without washing wide on exit or understeering, causing you to compromise that all-important exit speed, You end up on the exit curbing, which you can really ride the car on top of. This puts you onto the back straight and you start ripping through the gears. Let's see turn 4 at full speed. Shortly before the track climbs uphill, there is a slight right-hand kink known as turn 5. While most every car would treat this as just a full throttle straight, there is still consideration to be made on how you take this part of the track. To ensure the least scrub of the tyre and thus to minimise any speed loss, we want to move the car slightly left before the kink, brush past the inside curb as we apex 5, and then let the car move back to the left as much as it needs to without inducing any tyre scrub. It's about minimising lateral Gs using the full track width, but not excessively swerving side to side across the circuit. Outside of turn 5 is the long run up the back straight. Now, here's turn 5. Six is the highest speed corner on the circuit, making it also one that rewards the brave and where time can be gained. The entry here is obviously high speed. There's a slight crest and then a drop right around the braking mark for turn 6, so depending on the speed of your car, you may be able to get the car settled after that bump before you need to brake. If not, you'll need to be cautious with how you apply the brakes into this corner. You'll be carrying the brake pedal slightly as you turn in to help pull the car in and around the corner. As you bring the car into the apex, you want to aim to ride the left-hand wheels over the sawtooth curbing. Then, as you come through to the exit phase of turn 6, you'll line the car up to aim to drive directly over the curb hump of the next kink. Let's watch turn 6 at full tilt. Turn 6 quickly feeds into the kink that I always assumed was one corner, but is actually considered two. Turns 7 and 8. This corner is usually taken flat, with the car riding mostly straight over the curb hump. You'll likely need to put in an amount of steering angle on the car to bring it round to the right as you ride over the curb and in preparation for the following braking zone. Some smaller, lower or lighter cars or open wheelers would probably not follow this same line and instead have to divert around, but mostly any road car will be able to handle this straight on line approach just fine. Now let me show you corners 7 and 8 at speed. At the bottom of the hill after the previous high-speed section is the comparatively slow and tight turn 9. It's a high-speed entry with a risky braking zone, where you need to get the car across from the left mid-side of the track to the right and then on the brakes immediately after riding over the curb out of turn 7-8. Keep in mind, the braking zone on entry can be tough and unsettling for the car. The inside apex has a substantial paved section which is exceptionally inviting to ride over. Doing so increases the turn radius, allowing you to carry more corner speed. You can turn in early and effectively aim to almost have your bum riding over the inside curb at the apex. Really abuse the curb here for best results. The exit is relatively straightforward. If you carry the right amount of speed into and through the corner, you should end up riding up onto the exit curb, which will help fire the car out of the corner. Here's turn 9. Ten is another corner that's not really a corner, just a kink in a straight. Similar to turn 5, keep in mind to take it as efficiently as possible. Don't swing too far left on the exit from 9, mostly just ride along the right side of the track as the circuit kinks right. Your right hand wheels will just kiss the grass on that side of the track as you gently turn right as you line up your car diagonally to aim toward the entry into the next corner. Let's watch turn 10 at full tilt. The final braking zone, entry into turns 11 and 12, is again critical for the same reason as turn 4, to maximise the pace down the following straight. So entry here is about a hard and somewhat late brake, but carrying that deceleration into and around turn 11 to pull the car right, staying on the curbs on the right hand side of the exit of 11, which will then maximise the momentum you carry into the apex of turn 12 and thus onto the main straight. You may need a light brake application just before turning into 12, then you want to be on the power early, ride the car out wide to the right, using as much track exit as you need in the guise of more speed down the straight. Now let's see this pair of corners at speed. And finally, not to be forgotten, the last of the corners that's not really a corner is turn 13. The exit from 12 has you facing toward pit entry, with the car far right of the tarmac. But the circuit kinks to the left, so to minimise the distance travelled down the straight, you want to begin to aim your car toward turn 1 in as straight of a line as possible. Yes, you want to plan that far ahead. So as you cross past the entry into pit lane, you'll be riding close to the left-hand guardrail, straight lining what is turn 13. This heads you off down the main straight, across the start-finish line to start your next lap. Let's watch the final corner. Now, here's the entire lap. Firstly, I'll show you the full lap, uninterrupted and without commentary. Then I'll run the lap a second time and talk through the lines as we go. And so let's go for a lap. As we enter the main straight, we have pit entry directly in front of us, but we sweep left past turn 13, cross the start finish line to start our lap. On our right hand side is the pit exit and then the main grandstand. We head down the main straight with the car moving to the right hand side of the circuit to brake into turn 1. This is a long, deep braking moment. We clip the inside apex, the car runs out wide over the exit curbing, and then we quickly move the car back to the left to brake into turn 2. Turn 2, then turn 3 are a quick right-left complex. We ride up onto the curb on the exit of turn 3 and use that as entry into turn 4, run out wide and just ride the curb on the exit of 4. We move slightly left and then gradually turn right through turn 5 as we head up the back straight. We shift through the gears while we enjoy a slight breather, and gradually the car needs to move back towards the right in preparation for turn 6. Just as we crest the hill, we brake hard into turn 6, ride the left-hand curbing through turn 6, straight line over the 7-8 curbing, and bring the car back to the right as quickly as we can to brake into turn 9. On the inside apex of 9, we ride that curb as much as we can, and then there's the short jump towards turn 11. Between that, the slight right-hand kink for turn 10. Quickly, we brake a straight line for turn 11, keeping the car right. We use the right-hand curb here to shoot us over to turn 12. clip that apex right out wide, again turn 13, and that is my lap of Sandown Raceway. Sandown is certainly a power circuit, but it's not as simple as just point and squirt. A skilled driver will still outpace an amateur in a more powerful car, be it from speed and bravery carried over the top of 6, or from knowing the right way to get that corner exit speed onto the main straights. For me, the value of having a track so conveniently located as Sandown is in a suburban Melbourne is something to be appreciated while we still have it. I've been Brendan of BEAVIS Motorsport with my take on the ideal lap around Sandown Raceway here in Australia. I drive a Mazda MX-5 with relatively modest power, some DIY aero work, and a little bit of homemade ingenuity. Now, if you're interested, I've also got guides on how to tackle the 2 other major tracks here in Melbourne, both the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit and the Winton Motor Raceway, which you may also want to check out. I'll have links for them in the description. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you later.